So I want to bring up, as I mentioned at the very beginning, Maggie Burton. She has been busy writing a poem. Maggie is a Newfoundland and Labrador poet, a professional violinist, and a dedicated municipal politician. That's quite a busy schedule, Maggie. Her book, Chores, I have it now, I can't wait to dig into this, was awarded the 2024 Griffin Canadian First Book Prize, received a silver medal as well in poetry from the Independent Publisher Book Awards. Now, along with her artistic accomplishments, Maggie is committed to her Avalon Peninsula community, which is a lovely place, I've been there, where she is also raising 4 young children. So with all that, inspiration must be easy for you as a very busy woman. So please welcome to the Atlantic Showcase for this evening, Maggie Burton.
Thank you so much. So as Hannah alluded to, I have been writing a poem this evening. From the moment I sat down at 5:30, I got out my pen and I started scribbling some notes down because I love a good game, so I was committed to it. My father-in-law said, "Sure, write it the day before you go up, no one will know the difference." And I said to him, "No, like, this is fun. This will be really fun." So I got out the Public Policy Forum website and looked up a few things about each of the honorees tonight. So I read some things about Chief Joe, who I know pretty well and have a lot of respect for. I read some things about Laura Lee Langley, and I read some things about Enya. One of the things I learned about Enya is that she is also a violinist, which I think is really cool. Anyway, so all of them in the pieces about them on the PPF website, they used beautiful imagery in their talking, and I incorporated some of those images in the poem. One of the themes that came up tonight a lot as I was listening to the speeches and things was tension. You know, there's tension between where we are in Atlantic Canada and where we need to be or where we want to be. There's tension between idealism and pragmatism, and there's tension between aggressive decarbonization and accelerated phase-outs, which is one thing that Public Policy Forum has written quite extensively about, which I appreciate. And, you know, 2 of the 3 honorees, climate change came up quite a bit in the discussions that I read on the website. And as the mom of 4 young children, climate change is something that I think about every day. And I grew up in Brigus, Newfoundland, Labrador, which is a town of about 600 people. And when I tell people I'm from Brigus, they always think of a really rich community. You know, there's lots of beautiful historic houses there. There's, you know, we have a really rich fishing and sealing history there. But I grew up in absolute poverty. We had very little. And I was born in 1991, right before the Cobb moratorium hit. So no one knows the importance of economic diversification like a Newfoundlander does. My father heard that message loud and clear, and he went to school and became a geophysicist. But then in 1998, the oil recession happened, and he lost his funding for his PhD, lost his job, lost everything, and with it, he had a mental breakdown that he never recovered from and developed schizophrenia. So even when you listen to the advice and you go and you get into oil and you go into a different economy from fishing, it's still not guaranteed that you're going to have what you need to raise your children on. And so I think it's really important that we're having these conversations, and it's important to keep the tension front and center and talk through it as opposed to glossing over it. So that's kind of what I tried to capture in my poem. Laura Lee Langley said, you know, here in Atlantic Canada, we've stopped thinking of ourselves as the kids with holes in our shoes, and we're leaning into our advantages, which I thought was pretty cool. As a child, our car had a hole in the floor, and whenever we got in the back seat, we had to tuck our feet up on the back on the seat so that our feet wouldn't hit the pavement. So we didn't have holes in our shoes, but we had holes in our cars. Chief Joe said, "You don't get very far by insulting people, by pounding on a desk. You have to earn respect, and you have to be respectful." So those are 2 of the quotes that are going to appear in this poem, and I've incorporated a bunch of Enya's imagery around the ocean. So I hope you enjoy. So I wrote this evening. It doesn't have a title yet, and I'm an obsessive editor and reviser of my own work, so this will probably spend about 5 years on my desk, constantly getting little chicken scratch all over it. Okay. And thank you so much to Public Policy Forum for having me. This is such a treat. I'm the resident policy wonk around the council table in St. John's, so I use the Public Policy Forum's resources quite often to convince my colleagues to go along with something that I have an idea about. So I really appreciate all your hard work. All right. In the barrels of the earth, where the have-nots drown, the whales stop singing, music in liquid form pulls you under the spell of the circulating sea. In sinks of carbon, the chimneys of the ocean are swept by those taken by storm with each fraction of a degree. But it's in dark matter, hot like hollow debate, where denial blooms like algae, and we know everything germinates best with heat, like tomato seeds in our pockets. A kid with holes in his shoes once tucked a hand in the gap between the classes, and for what? Here, tension rumbles in the barrels of the earth in F-150s. We take Caribbean cruises while democracy falls around us with the scattering ashes of our forests. I pound on desks, but you know better, asking, with whom must you speak to see something change? But what is it we should want? If the answers were known, the whales would sing them from the barrels of the earth. All we know is that we must keep asking. Thank you.